You know, I've been uh, I've been part of the Full Gospel Church for over 20 years. In that time, I was taught that I have power in my tongue, that I could change circumstances with my tongue. I have power. How many times did these preachers hold up their hand, proclaim great and marvelous things, and nothing happened? The next week would go by, you'd go to church, nothing happened. And they made it seem like it was a normal occurrence, them preaching, teaching. But the only problem is when you go into hardship and you reach for the teachings that you've been taught that God will move strongly on your behalf, and He doesn't, what then? And that's the sinister plot, the sinister mind of these men. That when things are rough, you have nothing to hold on to but these false teachings. Are they inspired by God? Did God inspire them to speak and say such wonderful, glorious things to you? That you have all this power in your... Now, what makes you think that God would give power to lascivious, sin-filled, dark-minded people with a carte blanche credit to do whatever, as long as it's according to the word? Whose word? God spoke to people specifically and gave him that power when he spoke to them, just like he speaks to you. You can read accounts where God instructed Moses and sheltered him. And as long as Moses obeyed the voice of God in his direction, nothing could happen to him. Satan couldn't lay a glove on him. But are these people moved by the same voice? Are they commanded by the same spirit? Are they doing what God wants them to do because God is instructing them? Or they're interpreting the Bible? Because when things are rough, that's when you hold on to God. I was walking in a parking lot in Walmart, and I'll say this again and again and again. And the occurrence happened to me 15 years prior that I'll never forget. So I left my wife at the Walmart entrance because it was raining. I was going to go get the car and pull it in so she can get in the car. And as I'm walking, I'm not kicking stones. I'm not dejected. I'm not having the feeling. I'm just walking. And this man, as he passed me, looked at me, and he was in army fatigues. Good-looking guy, shaved. As he passed me, looked at me and said, "Everything's going to be all right." Kept walking. I stopped. And I looked and I thought, this time I'm going to go up to him like I didn't do the last time and say, "Who are you? What made you say that to me?" Because he just made that comment and kept on trucking. And I turned, I watched him go into Walmart. I thought, my wife is standing at the entrance. She'll surely see this guy in army fatigues that's just walking. And when I went to go pick her up, I said, "Do you see the guy in the army fatigues?" She said, "No." Well, God spoke to me that day. And you could say it's crazy. You could say it's mundane, but God has spoken to you. And you're listening to traditions and commands and teachings of men that cloud your mind, but God has spoken to you. And in those times of trouble, you reach for the things that God has spoken to you, not what man's spoken to you. And in my times of trouble and tribulation, you know what? Every instance, I didn't have education. I didn't have a trade when I left my home and got married. I raised 4 children. And I said to God, if we could start this business together, I'll always give you the glory and honor. And here I am, 42 years married, 13 grandchildren, 4 beautiful children. But when things are troubled, guess what? I reach not to the teachings of men, but in that parking lot where things are going to be all right. And I'm not saying things are going to be all right because in your life because of what God spoke to me, but what he spoke to you.